Hello and welcome. You listen to the African Update. My name is Kindama and I'm your host of today's program. As always, I'm here now, as I promised you the other day, that I'll be able to bring you as many stories possible this year. So then I'm bringing once again this story here, which is really sad, very, very sad story that is coming from Burkina Faso. The military in Burkina Faso says it has power and overthrow President Roch Kabore. Yeah, that is very, very sad news. I mean, I think I don't really know by now how many coup it happened in Burkina Faso. Just things are not going well in the country, and especially those countries were former French colony. They've got many of this problem. You're talking about like Mali. We had recently Guinea. I think it was Equatorial Guinea. Now we've got a Burkina Faso. So all those countries, people have been kind of. The population always kind of been surprised with this kind of coup that's happening there. But one of the thing is, the population get tired when the politicians are not making things for the entire country. If they're just making for themselves, the politicians think that as they're in power, the others don't need live better like them. So I think the African leaders, they need to start coming together and see how to solve this kind of problem to avoid corruption, because that's the main problem that we have got. And when the countries are corrupt, we end up having this kind of problems where the military become very upset and they take over. And that's exactly what we are on this situation. And for us to build, or to come to the point where to have this unity that Africa may need to have in order to start thinking development of the continent, will be always go backward, because every time we are trying to get together, something like this, it happened. But the news, it says like the announcement was made on the state television by an army officer who stated that the deterioration security situation for the military takeover, Mr. Kabore had faced growing discontent over his failure to stem an Islamist insurgency. His whereabouts are unclear, but the officer said that all those detained were in a secure location. Well, I hope that they don't kill or do all these bad things to the people, the president or the ministers and all those things, because it's always bad when there's the killings and all those stuff. So it's really really sad. The coup comes a day after troops seized the barracks and the shotguns were heard in the capital Ouagadougou. Ouagadougou is the capital city of Burkina Faso. Earlier, the ruling party, People's Movement for Progress (PMP) party, said that both Mr. Kabore and the government minister had survived an assassination attempt. On Sunday, Mutiny troops demanded the sanction of military chief and more resources to fight militant linked to the Islamic State (ISIS) group and Al Qaeda. The army instead said Mr. Kabore had failed to unite the nation and to deal effectively with the security crisis, which threatens the very foundation of the nation. That's exactly what's the problem when this kind of insecurity, this problem of ISIS and Al Qaeda is become a huge problem in the continent. And when the army start feel that kind of pressure, not having necessary means to fight this kind of insurgency, it becomes so problematic. And as we know that in Africa, we have now, we haven't that much equipment that we could use in order to fight this kind of insurgency. We depend on the West for the weapons, for all those kind of technology in order to fight any kind of war in the continent. So that's why we've got a really biggest problem on how to fight this kind of insurgency. And we hope doesn't go further, because we see not just in East Africa, we have got a problem as well. For example, in Southern Africa, in Mozambique, where this insurgency happening. And for example, Mozambique doesn't have much troop or power in order to fight this group of people. The state was issued in the name of the group not heard of previous, and the patriotic movement of safeguard and restoration of MPSR in French economy. Although read out by another officer, the statement was signed by Lieutenant Colonel Paul Harris Sandago Damibe. I hope I pronounced the name pretty well. But who is believed to be the coup leader and a senior commander with years of experience fighting the Islamist militants. The statement said the parliament and the government had been dissolved, but promised return to constitutional order within the reasonable time. The military also announced the closure of Burkina Faso's border. Well, as you can see, that's the situation that's going on right now in Burkina Faso. I hope the people right in the country will be able to have a better solution, because we are having a very, very disturbing situation. For example, when Mr. Thomas Sankara did the same, it create that kind of development of the country. Is one of African country and one of the leaders that many Africans they rely on him, even though he's dead for many years. He took power, Mr. Thomas Sankara, in 1983. And he was toppled and killed in 1987. So within the 4 years in power, he managed to do so much where the French were really not happy with him. Mr. President Thomas Sankara, in the period that he was in power, he managed to overturn the hunger that was in the country. The country became sufficient with product produced in the country. They had a chance to do so much in that little span of time in the country. So I hope will be another Thomas Sankara. This one who comes will be able to make the country to go further, trying to follow the footstep of Mr. Thomas Sankara and makes the country to grow. That's exactly what we want in Africa, not just taking power and then do the West that like other candidates or other people or they did in the past. But if they took power in order to do better, That will be probably praised, even though never been always the case. That should be praised when someone take power by force. But if for the good cause, well, we hope they will be able to make it better. But also, there's always involvement sometimes of the French thing. French of France think that this African French speaking country, they are his property. Hope people now can start think like in Africans, like we don't need France to kind of direct or giving orders to what they have to do in those countries. So that's exactly what it is. A sad story was happening in Burkina Faso, but we hope they will turn up a good result. But it never always been a good result, except we take like what Thomas Sankara did within that place, that period of time. He managed to do so much, and for the country, not for himself, because until today people praise him. He didn't get a chance to steal money from the country. He died as a president, but the poor president with a good conscience, because he wanted the country to be better. He wanted his nation to be the best place for Burkina. Thank you very much for the story. I hope next time I'll come and bring you the biography of former President Thomas Sankara, the man and the leader that many Africans look upon, one of the greats of African leaders or African sons of Africa. So see you next time until we meet again. Bye.